welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Crypto Blaze, and on this channel, we talk about everything cryptocurrency, ranging from market analysis to Web 3.0, NFTs, metaverse, and virtually everything in cryptocurrency space. So, today I'm here to talk about a very powerful tool in trading, a very powerful tool in technical analysis, which is called trend lines. Now, what are trend lines? Trend lines are lines that we draw on the chart to give us a directional bias of where the trend is heading according to the name trend line. So trend lines are very powerful tools too. They help us show us the direction of the trend, like the name implies, trend line. It shows us whether we're in an uptrend, a downtrend, or we're in a range. So first off, to get your trend line, you go to your trading view. If you don't have trading view, go to tradingview.com. Then click on charts, open any chart of your choice. The second icon here I'm hovering about, click on here. Some pop-up menu will come out. The first one is the trend line. So we're going to use previous example to display this. So on sand USDT 1 hour time frame, I can see a trend going on here. Now this is a trend line, so we need to discuss what makes a trend line a valid trend line. What makes this trend line valid? Number one, for me, I need the trend line to touch at least 2 points. 3 points is more solid, but if it touches 2 points, it's okay. But 3 points is more solid. In this place now, you can see it touched one, and these two black and ash candle touched it also, and it also almost touched it here. So you see, these points are okay. So for me, 2 points are okay, but 3 points more stronger. So that is what will make the trend line valid. If your trend line is not touching the point, it's not valid. And again, it needs I need to cover weeks too. Even though sometimes you can ignore weeks, but sometimes the weeks are to be covered, because most time these weeks are all these big whales trying to tap out liquidity. So if you remove it from your trend line, you might think that a trend line has broken and you take an entry, and it has not really broken. Instead, the market is just being manipulated, which it is always manipulated. So I need my trend line to cover weeks. So I need my trend line to cover weeks too also. So now there are ways you can trade a trend line. You can trade it as one, or you can trade it as a channel. And what do I mean by a channel? This is when I mean something like this. You have an upper bound and you have a lower bound. But this trend line is not valid because of this place. Okay, let me just trend line also tells you the market sentiment. Like in this situation now, you can see that there is a downtrend going on and there's also an uptrend going on. So it's telling you the market sentiment that okay, market is gradually pushing down. And you can see, if you can see, the bullish momentum is weakening. The bullish momentum is weakening from here. Look at, we now had like half of this to show you that sellers are stepping into the market to take over the market. So now this trend line broke with this long legged candle here. Now most people, if you're a breakout trader especially, you can quickly take your entry at the close of this candle, put your stop loss maybe just slightly above the candle, and target, let's say, like a 1:2, and this would have been a successful trade for you. But me, I usually wait for the last low, which was here in this case, to get broken, and I usually wait for a retest to this last low. If price doesn't, I usually wait for, after the break of the last low, I usually wait for a retest before I take my entry. If price doesn't retest the last low, I don't enter the market. Like for me, I wouldn't have entered this trade, even though it met almost all criteria as well, and it was still a successful trade. Well, I wouldn't have entered it because of it did not meet my own criteria. So it depends on how aggressive or conservative you are. That is what will determine how you take your entry. But it's always best you wait for a pullback, because most times market always pull back. It's not every time you have this smooth going down. You can just be lucky once or not. So So that's one example of taking an entry with a trend line. Let's look for another example of a trend line. Another example of a trend line. Okay, I can see the following wedge here. If you look properly, yeah. So let's copy that. I can see that. Okay, yes, this is a falling wedge. I can just enhance it. Okay, good. Now this is another way to trade trend line. Now I want to specify something. Most people usually trade maybe when the trend line touches like the upper bound or the lower bound. Now what do I mean by that? As you can see now, this is a trend channel. When trade is going up or down, up or down, up or down within a trend line, it's called a channel. So this is a trend channel. Now this channel, now let's say we were here on this trade and we don't know what's going to happen in this place. Now the trade has hit first this upper bound of the trend line. Now some traders trade within the channel. You can take an entry here at the close of this bridge. Can just put stop loss here, then target like the one is between. You can see that this would have also been a successful trade. You could also do it at the lower bound too, over here. Pick a trend line, take a long position at this candle, probably put your stop loss below the wick of that candle, target like a 1:2, and you can see that this would also be another successful trade. So most traders usually trade within the trend. Here too would have been another successful trade. So most traders usually trade within the trend channel, but me, I don't usually trade within the trend channel because they are not that strong or that valid most times, but most times it's always a profitable strategy. I prefer to wait for the break of the trend line and a retest, just like we had over here now. So price was trading within the channel and it finally broke out. So I wait for previous high, which was around here, to get tested, and bam, it got tested. So I will wait for, take my entry here, put my stop loss maybe just around here. Then let's just say target like the 1:2, keeping it simple. Keeping it simple, let's just target like a 1:2, and voila, this would have been a successful trade. So this is another way you can trade trend lines too. So let's keep finding more examples of trend line trading and how you can trade them. There's also, I see another trend line here. I see another trend line, and a trend line cannot just, it's not only if it touches up or if it touches down. Like in this case now, you can see one touched here, one touched here, and the second touch was on top here. This is also a valid trend line, so you can still call this valid trend line because you can use it as a support, which you would have used it here because this is also a previous high. This point too is also a previous high, so you can use it that if price comes back, you just take your long position entry at the close of this candle, put your stop loss just quite below it, targeting a 1:2. This would have also been another successful trade. So you can see that trend lines are very much powerful to use while trading. They are very much powerful tools to use while trading. So these are the ways you can trade trend line. So one thing you should not do with trend line is, do not trade trend line immediately it breaks out, because most times market usually fix out. I'm looking for an example of when market fixed out and came back. I want to show you an example. As you can see, today is also a trend line. A trend line are very much common in the market because they always tend to occur. Market is always trending, so you always see a trend line. Okay. I think I've seen something. If you extend this trend line the more, you can see something here that hmm, you can see something here that price broke out of this trend line with these three beautiful candles here. So if you immediately took trade, maybe at the close of this one, put stop loss here. Let's say you target a 1:2. Let's see. Okay, this could have still been a successful trade for you. This could have still been a successful trade for you too. But it's not every time market works like this. You don't trade the breakout immediately. You should always wait for a retest, because sometimes market usually does what we call a fake out. And when it does that, you get stopped and your stop loss will get hit. So always wait for a retest. One. Two, ensure you can grab all touches. Like here now, this week got touched. Here got touched. Ensure you grab all the touches and ensure you are grabbing them with weight too. Do not completely ignore it, because let's say for example here now we ignored the week and we say no body. You might actually think that the trend line has broken here, but you can see that this is just a fake out. This is just liquidity graph. There's nothing really much here. That is why you need to comprise your trend line of the weeks also too. So I think this is an example of a fake out. Let me see if this, okay, this could have worked out too with a 1:2. This could have worked out too. This could have worked out too. So as you can see, trend lines are very powerful trading strategy. You can use them on any market, any time frame. You just need to ensure you have more than two touches and ensure you are comprising of the week. Always wait for a retest, even though the market is seem fresh and you just want to jump into the market and understand. Always wait for a retest of the previous high or the previous low that was broken, so that you can get that perfect sniper entry and a good risk to reward ratio. If you're trading just the breakout, you won't get anything more than a 1:2. Imagine you're targeting, let's even just say a 1:5. Let's keep it a 1:5. I don't think this trade would have worked well for you. I don't think this trade would have worked. You see, you'd have ended up getting stopped out or break even. Here you understand. So you won't get much risk reward ratio. But if you had waited for probably a retest, you would have gotten that enough risk reward ratio and good more profit. So always wait for a retest. Be patient. Market always retest most of the times. So always wait for a retest. And if you're trading the channels too, be very careful, because most times it might show you that it's coming down and at the end of the day it will break out. Always wait for confirmation, candlestick confirmation, and trade carefully. Use proper risk management and the rest. In our next video, we're going to be talking about supply and demand. If you want to watch the video, intensive video on supply and demand, if you want to watch the video and how I trade supply and demand, kindly like, comment supply and demand in the comment section of this video to trigger YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on post notifications so that you'll be notified anytime we drop new video. Thank you so much. Catch you next week. My name remains Crypto Bliss. Love you.